This garment is classic princess seam garment. You can see that the princess seam is running from mid of shoulder to waistline over the bust point. Similarly, back from mid of the shoulder to back waist, and it has a contour shape in it. You can see that it is going along with the body shape. It is not straight below the bust level, it is taking the body shape. So let's see how to make this princess seam pattern.
Now we are going to see how to make classic princess style line pattern on both front and back. Use shoulder and waist dot sloper and label A, B, C and D as shown. Draw an underarm slash line. Transfer the shoulder dot to underarm dot. Reduce underarm and waist dot half an inch away from bust point. Draw a line from mid of shoulder to waist dot end point. Mark notches 2 inches above and below from the apex point. Trace the center panel. And side panel separately. Mark 3/4 of an inch away from the bust point and pivot. Close underarm dot. Mark 1 bar 16 inch away above the bust point and 1/8 inch inside below the bust as shown through the shape. Trace the pattern as highlighted to make side panel. Match the shape with front panel and trim. Walk the pieces and match notches to complete front pattern. Use back bodies. Draw a curve line from shoulder to waist dot end point. Trace the highlighted area to make back side panel. Trace the highlighted area to make center back panel. Classic princess seam pattern draft completed. Now we are going to see how to make classic princess seam. For this, use shoulder and waist dot sloper. Mark AB at the shoulder dot, CD at the waist dot. Pivot at the bust point. First, transfer the shoulder dot into underarm dot. So I am marking underarm dot 1.5 inch below armpit. Move A to B so that the dot will open at the underarm and close at the shoulder. Draw the center front line. Draw the center of the dot. Mark the midpoint. Draw to the center of the dot. Then mark half an inch down from the bust point for the waist dot end point. And 1 inch away for the underarm dot. Draw the dot legs. Then mark the mid of the shoulder. Then connect to dot end point of waist dot. From the bust point, mark 2 inch up and 2 inch down. Mark the same measurement in other dot leg also. We need to make a notch in these points which will control the fitting. Now we can trace this center panel. So this is your center panel. Then cut the side panel. In the side panel, mark 3/4 inch from the bust point. Slash the line and close. If we close here, it will open a small ease in this area. Then trace this pattern into a new sheet. Now we are going to trace the side panel. Mark the notches. Connect straight line. Now draw the pattern. Based on our body shape, we have to increase 1/16 away above the bust level, and here 1/8 inside, here 1/16 outside, so that make the shape. So here 1/16 outside, 1/16 outside, 1/8 inside. This will give more contour fit than the straight one. Then cut the pattern. Take the center front panel and match the shape. Then trim it. And match the notches from top to the notch and bottom to the notch. If you walk, you can find the side panel will be excess than the center panel. This we have to give little ease, small kind of gathering here to get a nice fit. So now you learn how to make classic princess seam on front panel. This will continue in the back panel also. Now we are going to see how to make classic princess seam on back bodies. From the middle of the shoulder, from the dot to the waist dot end point, make a smooth curve line. Now move this dot end point to this plot line. Now trace this center panel separately, and for side panel trace the other side of the dot separately. Make one notch here, one notch here. So we trace the center back panel. Through the corners if necessary. So your back body's classic princess seam is ready.
This video shows the stitching of classic princess seam. There is a center panel on front and back, and there are side panels for front and back. All are separated. While attaching the princess seam, it's all closing together and gives the body fitting. You can see it now. Attach the princess seam and attach the shoulder and side seam to get a nice fit. So it taking the shape of the body. You can see that under bust level it is not straight as we have seen in the basic bodies. This is from the side view. You can see that clearly. You can clearly watch the under bust level. It is not straight anymore. It is a curve. Back is also fitting nicely. This shows how it fits on the body. You can see that it is fitting for the body shape. This video shows the comparison between basic bodies and classic princess seam. In the side view, you can clearly see the underbust level, that basic body is a straight and classic princess seam has a curve. So that is a main difference. You can find it takes the body shape and it's give very nice fit while comparing to the basic bodies. Use your front basic bodies, or you can download the one from the download section. Follow the step-by-step instructions to convert front bodies to classic princess seam. Once you completed, in the front you will get one center front panel and one side panel. Similarly, take the back bodies and convert as per the instruction given. You will get one center back panel and one panel as shown in the image. You can also download the final pattern from the downloading section and verify your pattern is correct. This design shows armhole princess seam. See that the princess seam start from mid of the armhole to the waistline over the apex point or bust point. Back also similar from armhole to waistline. Let's see how to make armhole princess seam. Use waist and shoulder dot front pattern. Transfer shoulder dot to underarm dot.
Reduce the underarm dot length by 1 inches. Draw a line from mid-armhole to bust point. Draw smooth armhole princess line as shown. Trace highlighted pattern to make center panel. Trace highlighted area to make side panel. Pivot 3/4 of an inch from bust point and close underarm dot. Draw contour shape by reducing 1/8 of an inch below bust. Copy the same shape to the front panel. Walk the princess seam and mark notches on both panels. Front armhole princess panel completed. Use back bodies. Transfer shoulder dot to armhole. Draw armhole princess line. Trace the highlighted pattern to make the back side panel. Trace the highlighted pattern to make center back panel. Remove the armhole dot by transferring to the princess seam. Trim it. Poke the piece and through the armhole. Armhole princess seam completed. Now we will see how to make armhole princess seam in the front bodies. For that I am using shoulder and waist dot sloper. First transfer the shoulder dot to underarm dot. I am marking 1.5 inch below the armpit for the underarm. I am going to use pivotal transfer method. Pivot at the bust point. Trace the pattern. Mark B. Then move A to B. Connect the center front line. Join the dot. Mark the midpoint. Draw the center of the dot. Mark 3/4 of inch inside. And draw the dot. Then decide where you want the armhole princess seam. I am selecting here. First draw one guideline. Then draw your armhole princess seam. Now you can trace the front panel. Mark 2 inches above a notch, both front panel and side panel. So we made a center front panel. Then cut the side panel. Cut the dot leg. Then bust level. Now pivot this point, which is 3/4 inch from the bust point. Close the dot. It will open here. Then you have to trace this pattern in a new sheet and you have to give the contour shaping. The front side panel. Mark the notches. Again, mark 1/16 outside, 1/16 outside and 1/8 inside, and redraw the same. This will give a better fit than the black color line. Take the center front panel, then do the same shape. Make sure the notches are matching from top and bottom. There will be a small ease if you walk the pattern. If you walk the pattern, you can find the back panel has more measurement than the front panel. While stitching, we have to give a small gathering to get a better fit. Then mark the grind line. Parallel to center front. This also parallel to center front. So now we created armhole princess line in the front bodies. Make a horizontal line where the shoulder dot ends to the armhole. Then slash the line till the dot point. Then close the dot. So that the dot will open at the armhole. Then decide where you want armhole princess seam, marking here. Then use the French curve and make the plot line. Mark notch here. Then cut the line. Mark the grind line. Grind line should be parallel to center back. Then measure the dot opening, half an inch here. Mark same measurement at the princess seam. Then trim that. While trimming, you can see automatically the variations will come. Trim the dot leg. Now walk the piece from the bottom to the notches. There is a different here. Mark midpoint between these two and draw the pattern. Trace the center back panel. Trace the side panel. Mark the midpoint. change the arm hole. Connect the solder line. Connect the center front line. Transfer the grind line. Mark back grind line parallel to center back. Mark the notches. Now we made armhole princess seam on back bodies. Walk the pieces and check it is matching and armhole shape is smooth, and do the labeling and complete the pattern.
This video shows how to stitch armhole princess seam and its fitting. This style has center panel, both front and back, and side panel on both the sides. Attach the panels together, then close the side seam and close the shoulder seam to get the fit of the garment. So once you close all the seams, it takes its shape. Then you can see that this is also give very nice fit for the bust area. This is the same fitting from the side view. You can see that how it is closing and joining together and give the body shape. This shows how nicely it fits on the body. This video shows the comparison between basic bodies and armhole princess seam. Check the under bust level. Basic bodies is straight from the bust level to waist, but classic princess seam has the shape of the body. Similarly, it will give better fit at armhole since there is a seam. If there is any excess fabric can be adjusted on the seam. Use your basic bodies or download front bodies pattern. Follow the instructions and you will get front panel and front side panel as shown in the image. Similarly, use your back bodies and follow the instructions. This will give you one back center panel and back side panel as shown in the image. You can also download these final patterns from the download section and check your pattern is correct. This design shows panel styles. You can see that the style lines running from armhole to the waistline, but it's not over the bust point. It is away from the bust point. Front and back side panels are joined together here, and there is a dot from the panel towards bust point. Let's see how to make this pattern.
Let's see the construction of panel princess seam. Use shoulder and waist dot sloper. Transfer the shoulder dot to underarm dot. Draw half an inch horizontal line from mid armhole. Draw style line. Trace highlighted area to make center panel. Trace highlighted areas. And join them together to make side panel. Close the waist dot. Reduce the dot length by half an inch. Front panel style line completed. Use back pattern. Draw half an inch horizontal line from mid armhole. Draw style line. Trace highlighted area to make center panel. Trace highlighted area to make side panel. Panel princess seam draft completed. Now we are going to discuss how to make panel princess seam. For this I am using 2 dot slope, one at shoulder, one at waist. Label AB at the shoulder dot leg, CD at the waist dot leg. Next, mark a underarm line, mark 1.5 inch below and mark and label E. Connect E to bust point. Slash E to bust point. Slash A to bust point. Then move A to B. Pivot at the bust point. Then move A to B. This will open dot at E. Pin it securely. Then from mid armhole mark half an inch inside. Then draw a parallel line to the center front. Then use the French curve to connect mid armhole to the plot line. Then trace the front panel. Then trace the front panel. Now you will get one front panel and two side panel, one on the top, one on the bottom. Join the two side panel together. Then close the dot. Move C2D, it will close the dot. Crease the dot leg which is nearer to center front. Crease the center of dot. By closing this, it will open more here. So I am closing the dot, I am moving C2D. So it will open dot little bigger. Then you can trace the front panel. Mark the bust point. Mark half an inch away from the bust point. Mark in the middle for the dot end point. Make sure you marked all the necessary marking. Then remove the working pattern. Connect the shoulder seam. connect the center front. Draw the dot till the dot end point, which is half an inch away from the bust point. Then draw the grind line parallel to the center front. Then mark other labels like center front, necessary. Then you can cut the pattern. Then you have to do the same in the back panel also. Then we have to attach both the side seam together. I have taken back body sloper to make a side panel at the back. From the mid armhole back, mark half an inch inside. From the side waist, mark 2.5 inch. Join together. Use your French curve to draw the side panel. Then mark notches on both the back panel and side panel if necessary. Cut the line. this will give you two pattern, one at center back panel, one at side panel. Now we have to merge both the side panel together to get the side panel. This is back, this is front. Take both the panels, match the side seam, join together. Then trace it. Mark the side seam, mark the notches, then draw the line if necessary. Grind line should be parallel to side seam. Cut the pattern. So check the matching, back to side panel, then from here to the notch, armhole to notch, waist to notch, so that once you close the notch it will give the fit, and we are eliminating the dots on the panel seam.
This video shows how stitching happen in panel seams and its fitting. First, close the smaller dot and attach the panels to the bodies, and close the shoulder seam to get the fit. So close the dot, attach the panels. So you can see that the garment it fitting nicely. This is the same fitting from side view. You can see that how the dot is closed and side panel is attached to the front panel. This shows the fitting. It is almost same as basic body's fitting. Even though panel is not passing through the bust point, we are making a dot so that the fitting can be achieved. This video shows comparison between basic bodies and the panel seam. You can see that there is no much difference between these two garments. Both are giving similar fit. Only changes is in the style. Instead of dot, it has a panel. Use your front basic bodies or download from the download section. Follow the instructions. You will get one center panel as shown in the image. Use the back bodies and convert that into back center panel as shown in the image, and use both front and back bodies combinedly and make side panel as shown in the image. All the patterns are available in the download section. You can download and verify whether your pattern is correct.